Today we will compare between the script mode and console mode in RStudio. As I talked to you before, we checked the console usage using a simple question and checking the result, like this photo, right? Today we will compare between the console and script mode. In case of console, we can't ask a simple question, right? In case of script mode, relatively we recommend a long question to the R interpreter. For example, if you want to make a new file, you can click the File and New File and R script selection. Of course, you can use the Ctrl and Shift N keyword. For example, we can try to make a new file with the Ctrl Shift N. As you can see on the screen, there is another untitled 2 script file was acquired. So I will type the same simple example in console case. For example, print what is the result and what is the string case 2. Even though we put the enter, but there is no result here, right? In case of a result, you can check the result in the console. But there is no result console too. My point is, if you type some code in script mode, you can use the build menu or debug or the run menu. So I recommend you use the run menu. But as you can read the explanation in the screen, if you run the menu, you can only execute this line. But if you want to execute whole code, you can use the source menu, and then you can click the Ctrl Shift S together, so you can check the result, the 300 and higher O string result in console. If you want to click the line by line with the run, you can check this line only execution, and another one you can click the run menu again. So it is not efficient, but sometimes there is more than 100 codes, and if you want to modify among one line, you can modify the line only, and you can learn this line only. Sometimes you can compile another menu, source with echo. That is the keyword is the Ctrl Shift Enter. In this case, you can check the comment line and the result, and another comment line, I mean your code and the result. So there are 3 kinds of execution ways. First is the line by line, the run menu. The other is a source. But only source execution, we can compile or interpret the whole code in a whole and then check the one result. But if you click the source with echo, you can check your result per each line. So at this time, you can click the Art Print screen and then paste the bottom place of your portfolio Word file. Okay? So, as I talked to you before, in console, you can ask a simple question. But script mode, you can have a long question normally. For example, welcome to our RStudio. My name is Hayoung Oh. My appreciation is SKKU, and so on. So if you code your code more than 2 lines, I recommend you type your code in script mode. And then if you want to save this file, click the file and the save as. And in a default directory, you can write your own file name. I talked to you our standard template format of the file or directory or email title is started with the today date, right? And your ID number and your English name and the example title, script usage. In case of the file extension, in our programming language, the file extension is the capital R. So you can save this file. Of course, if you want to check this file exactly in this directory, you can click this and then copy and then save. After saving, you can check the file name was changed from untitled to your file name that's capital R. So click your computer directory and then delete and paste, and then you can check it, your project and your R file. Okay, so even though you close the RStudio in your computer, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you can find your own script file. So it is different factor too. So characteristics, in case of in case of a console, if you close your RStudio, we cannot find your trace in console. So no recovery. But in case of script, even though you close your RStudio and computer, you can find your file anytime. So we can find your file always. So, step by step, whenever I compare the console and script, I will add the another features or characters at the bottom of this table. All right. So you should also make your own Word file for your portfolio, step by step of each video, and then you can add the whole your trace similar to me, and then submit when I request to you. All right. Okay. Of course, we will solve the many problems such as the big data or other advanced examples such as crawling the social network and text mining. So you can add in your code in script mode, and then you can save per each example exercise, and then you can also submit if I request you. Okay, that's it. And another point is, I recommend you put comment on top of each example with this special character. This special character means even though we put some writing in this place, the person or programmers can only check and read this part, and our interpreter cannot understand this part. So we don't need to follow the R grammar in this part. That means I can put some writing in Korean or English or Chinese and so on for efficient communication between programmers only. So I can add some explanation in English here. This example is for the printing my information shortly, like that. And the date I made it is like this, and author is my English name. So whenever you made your own example, you should put the explanation about this code on top of each code. So when you make your codes more and more, when you click one of them, you can read the explanation shortly, and you can remember, oh, I made this code when and what, like that. Okay, so that is the comment, not comment. So we will test this code regardless of comment. So you can click the Ctrl Shift S. I mean, Ctrl Shift S, okay, or Ctrl Shift Enter, all right? Oh, in this case, you can click this. Yeah, so we can check the our results of the 3 lines. So, Professor, what is the number 1 in the front of each result? That means, okay, just one answer is possible in our interpreter. That is the common rule. So, the common standard appointment between the R interpreter and codes, the just one line of the result is possible. So don't worry about it. If you want to delete number 1 in front of each result, you can change from print to message function, right? So you can copy and paste like. Okay, and then you can also check it, right? So, or you can source with the Ctrl Shift S. So only the strings was occurred in the console for the result without number 1 per each line, right? So, oh, I want to compare print, yeah, and message. So whenever you type the preserve word or function in script mode or console, you can check the exact definition and usage and the application for each function. For example, if you print function, there are many kinds of functions were occurred in script mode, but we want to use the first one. So you can read the definition explanation with the right box. The print each argument and return it. As I talked to you before, right? It is the generate function, which means that new printing method can be easily added for new classes. So if you want to know it more and more in detail, you can press F1. So in the right bottom part, you can read the more information about print, right? So description, usage, and argument, details, and so on. But don't worry about the whole usage and methodology about per each print, because it is not efficient for checking everything per each reserved word and function. So I recommend whenever you want to use it in detail per each problem, you can check the help and then you can utilize the wanted part, the partial information about each function only, right? How about message? Okay. Sometimes even though I put some functions here, yeah. So before typing all words similar to the search engine, we can find the wanted reserved information. So you can read it. So generate a diagnostic message from each argument. Okay, so you can press F1 or so. So simply you can get some information, the difference between print and message, as I talked to you before. All right. So message is used for generating simple diagnostic message, which are neither warning nor error, but nevertheless represented as conditions. Okay. So I recommend use the print function instead of message. All right. Okay, that's it. And we can go ahead. Okay, we covered get started with R already. A new project. As I talked to you before, the bottom right name is project. Under the project, there are many kinds of the source files can be existed. One of them we've used the file today. And if you want to check your current workplace workspace, you can use these functions. All right. Okay. For example, yeah, getWD returns an absolute file path representing the current working directory of the R process. All right. The opposite function is the setWD. So setWD is setting the working directory into the new place. So it's used to set the working directory to another new directory. So if you want to read or get more information about this function, you can also press number 1 as I talk to you, right? So getWD and enter. So you can get a simple result in console as I talk to you. So that means the working directory. So you can select the block and then copy with the Ctrl C, and then open your computer directory and then paste over the previous path and then paste it with the Ctrl V and then enter. So you can check this project and your file. All right. So that is the working directory. Working directory means where are you working your R code now? Where are you working your project in RStudio now? So you can find your working directory. But if you want to change to the another directory, you can use the setWD command, as you can see on the screen. For example, this another directory. Okay, so I recommend you memorize, keep in mind this keyword. So at this time we will categorize the important things. Okay, in programming, in R programming especially, there are representative categorized. First is the reserved word. Second is variable. Third one is data. First, function. So per each video or offline lectures, I will add and I will explain about this part. So whenever you listen it, you can add the related parts into the each category. For example, in case of functions, we learned about print, right? Print function and message function and getWD function. So in case of a print function, print the data on the screen, right? It is similar to print function, but without number 1, information of each result. In case of getWD, returns the current working directory, right? In case of setWD, set the working directory to a new one, right? So you can also type similar to me for yourself, and then complement your portfolio Word file for each lecture, right? In case of the reserved word, we um, runs about double quarter. That is also reserved word. If you want to use the string or character, you should put the front part and closing parts of the double quarter, right? And then we will add more reserved word around hundreds at the end of the this semester, and we will learn about variable in the next video soon, and we will cover data size from small sample one to the big data in this lecture, and we will add the more functions on the bottom lines continuously. All right. Okay, so in this video I compared between console and script, right? And we test the script mode shortly, and I categorized the important category in the portfolio Word file. So you should write down everything in your Word file and save your Word file with the template format name, file name, and then submit about until maybe yeah, the third week of March. So I will upload this file for templates, the sample template in our lecture site, and you can download it and you can refer this one and you write down your own style, and then you can submit until the third week of the March. Okay, I will upload all information about this homework, so check it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening.